It's 12:07 on Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to The John Phillips Show. Johnny is on vacation, so it's Randy Wang here broadcasting live from the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa Living Room Studios. And, of course, it's Woo Wednesday.
It's Woo Wednesday. Yeah, baby. Woo, 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 woo. Woo, 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 woo.
Johnny's back on Monday, so it's Randy Wang flying solo. To join us on the phone, 800-222-KABC. You can email us at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And you can follow me on social media on Twitter and Instagram. It's Randy Wang Radio. And see all the pictures of food that I cook and the wine that I drink. It's time to start the show with another round of So It's Come to This. We have covered the relentless shoplifting crisis in Los Angeles, Orange County, and San Francisco over the past few years. It's gotten particularly insane in the Bay Area, where you have had stores go out of business, even stores that you never think would go out of business, like Walgreens. The ones that are staying are changing the game. You've got grocery stores where people can't keep the product on the shelves. You've got legislators in the California Assembly that want to make it against the law for employees to go after shoplifters. So the owners of these stores that want to stay in business, they've got to start changing the game. And that is why you're starting to see images of a Walgreens in San Francisco that has locked up the freezer section. That's right. And it's not like they had special locks on those freezer doors. No, the freezer doors that carry your favorite cheap-ass frozen pizzas and frozen ice cream, well, they are chained up with a big old lock. And if you want to get your ice cream, you want to get your Celeste pizza for one, you're going to have to ring a bell. An employee's going to have to come over, unlock the door, and then you can grab their pizza. Because even the freezer section isn't safe from shoplifting. For more, here is KPIX in the Bay Area.
It didn't take long. Within the first hour of being at Walgreens on Geary Boulevard and 17th Avenue in San Francisco, we witnessed multiple shoplifters.
As soon as you bring the camera crew out there, you don't even have to wait. It's going to happen. It happens constantly.
One of them even took the time to explain why he simply didn't pay.
San Francisco, right?
Off camera.
So somebody is so brazenly bold with their shoplifting. They steal merchandise from Walgreens. They see the KPIX Channel 5 cameras outside. They are asked by the reporter, why did you steal that? And he says,
San Francisco, right?
It's San Francisco, bro. We have normalized thievery.
Off camera, a Walgreens employee told me they're hit anywhere between 15 to 20 times a day. Out of frustration, a week and a half ago, they decided to chain up their freezer section. This is one of the hardest hit areas in their store. Now, when you want something, you have to press this button.
What's the aftermarket for frozen pizza? What the hell is going on here?
Now, when you want something, you have to press this button. A message goes off on the overhead speaker, and an employee comes to unlock the freezer. According to the employee we spoke to, company policy says they...
First it was just baby formula. Then it was condoms. Now we're putting under lock and key, not the expensive liquor, but the dryers.
According to the employee we spoke to, company policy says they can't challenge shoplifting.
There are a lot of people that buy a lot of things in the freezer section that they try to do as incognito as possible. And I would assume it is pretty embarrassing to have to hit a button, have an employee come over, and they ask you, what do you need, sir? Can I get about 17 pints of the Chunky Monkey?
According to the employee we spoke to, company policy says they can't challenge shoplifters.
Maybe a Cherry Garcia. I'm watching my weight. That one's got fruit in it.
This customer has.
Sometimes I've stopped people myself, and it just frustrates me so much to see the neighborhood fall apart and to have to ask somebody to, unlock things.
Almost every aisle has products locked behind plastic cases. We asked what the brown marks were. Turns out shoplifters have tried to burn the cases. This
Okay, well, you build a better mousetrap, you're going to get smarter mice, or in this case, more dangerous mice. It used to just be that razor blades were put under lock and key, but now a whole bunch of different products are under glass cases. And so the insane people that want to shoplift in a San Francisco Walgreens try to light the cases on fire.
Turns out shoplifters have tried to burn the cases. This vendor saw 4 shoplifters in the couple of hours he was working at the store today.
They just help themselves. It's a common thing. The problem is they're not punished.
SFPD's Sergeant O'Mara was on foot patrol outside the store.
It's getting worse, because more and more people are coming into the west side of the city on the 38 bus line. They're getting off and they're basically stealing out of this store.
So the people that are evading fares on Muni are then going to a Walgreens to steal their dinner.
He did not want his face.
And no, I don't feel bad for these people.
He did not want his face on camera, but said he detained 8 people shoplifting yesterday.
People were entering the store and taking products. So outside, if they cross the threshold, they can be put under arrest. The 8 people that I took on yesterday, 7 of them returned the items. Well, basically all 8 returned the items. With one, there was a problem with one of them.
So did you?
He already started eating the ice cream as soon as he ran out the place. Just got to get a taste of that rocky road.
So did you arrest anybody?
No, because the store didn't wish to put citizens to arrest on it. All they wanted to do was get their product back.
Okay, Walgreens, that's a problem. Okay, if you want to deter this behavior, you actually have a police officer who's trying to do his job now that things are a little different in San Francisco because London Breed is trying to take crime more seriously. They've got a DA who actually wants to take crime more seriously in Brooke Jenkins. People were caught shoplifting. The police officer detained them, but in order to make the arrest, Walgreens has to want to press charges, and they did not. They just want the ice cream back, although I'm not touching that ice cream once the crazy person touched it.
People were entering the store and taking products. So outside, if they cross the threshold, they can be put under arrest. The 8 people that I took on yesterday, 7 of them returned the items. Well, basically all 8 returned the items. With one, there was a problem with one of them.
So did you arrest anybody?
No, because the store didn't wish to put citizens to arrest on it. All they wanted to do was get their product back.
But Walgreens is not the only store that's been victimized by crime here. Across from it is this cigarette shop. They were burglarized a month ago. The owner said he lost over $100,000 in merchandise and cash.
Well, I hope somebody pay attention, to stop this.
Who's buying cigarettes on eBay? How does this work? Because you're not stealing cartons of cigarettes to smoke them. At least I don't think they are.
We can't afford it, that's a small business. We can't afford it like $100,000. Somebody came and take here, nobody do anything about it. That's really hard for us.
And 2 days before that breaking, this coffee shop across the street was also hit.
The city, mayor, or anybody, they don't do anything. Nobody pay attention, nobody do anything. I don't know why. What we do, we have no choice.
I also contacted the National Retail Federation and confirmed that San Francisco and Oakland ranked number 2 in the list of top areas impacted by organized retail crime nationwide. In the newsroom, Luz Peña, ABC 7 News.
So the San Francisco Walgreens that's getting hit 20 times a day, even when people get caught by police, they don't want to press charges. What they've decided to do instead, because they don't want to deal with the legal process, is they're locking up the ice cream, they're locking up the Hot Pockets, they're even locking up the Lean Pockets. The frozen pizzas, those are locked up too. You've got to call an employee, they've got to walk over there, and then they've got to ask you what you're getting. It just seems a little inconvenient. I understand why they're doing it, but it's insane that they're doing that at the same time. They don't want police to go after the people that are being detained for stealing from their store. But that's just one store. In another chapter of So It's Come to This, we go across the street to a Safeway in San Francisco that because of rampant shoplifting, because of all the thieving that's going on, they have had to implement a new way of getting in and getting out of this grocery store, in that you have to scan your receipt or you will not be able to leave because the door won't open. You're trapped inside. Let's find out. For more, Here's KPIX round 2.
All right, retail theft is another major challenge for the city. And earlier this week, robbers hit the Gucci store in Union Square, getting away with luxury goods. It's become such a problem for Safeway. The chain has added new security measures at stores around the Bay Area. And Don Lynn shows us the changes designed to slow down shoplifters.
You know, it's not safe at Safeway anymore, so just do what they do here and call it Vaughn's.
You have a good day. Thank you.
You as well. Have a nice day.
It's almost like the BART fare gate. Scan a receipt, the 2 glass doors slide open. Safeway shop.
We've got to have a TSA now at the grocery store.
Safeway shopper Peter Thurston noticed the new device earlier this week.
It's a new system that they're trying out. Time will tell if they're going to be successful or not.
Peter lives near the Webster Street store and shops here twice a week.
It's convenient. I have everything I want. You know, I don't have to go too far.
He and other regulars tell me theft is rampant.
Every day.
You see them?
Yeah, you see it. You just, mind your own business.
At least 2 San Francisco Safeway stores have the sliding gate, including the Mission Street store in the Excelsior district.
Oh, it's the best. It's going to cut down the crime. I guarantee it cuts down the crime.
Well, if you can't get out of the store, well, that would make it difficult to steal things outside of the store. Although, how is this process going to work when Phil Tang up at the Assembly is trying to ban receipts?
The more they shoplift, the more we have to pay for the products.
Some shoppers.
You know what? That's a fantastic point. I always kind of wonder in the back of my head when I go to Trader Joe's, why is everything so much cheaper here? You don't really see this at Trader Joe's. But whether it's a Ralph's, an Albertsons, a Vaughn's, you see a lot of shoplifting all the time. And you wonder why the mayonnaise is $7.
Some shoppers even worry about store closures due to high theft. That's why many seem to support it, despite the early glitches. We noticed people with a lot of products in their hands were struggling to scan the receipt.
Yeah, see, that's one of the problems here. I've been to plenty self-checkout stands, and if those are the same scanners they're using to scan your receipt or you cannot leave the building, there's going to be a traffic jam trying to get out of the Safeway on Mission.
That's why many seem to support it, despite the early glitches. We noticed people with a lot of products in their hands were struggling to scan the receipt. A clerk had to help. People who don't have a receipt will need a worker to open the gates to exit.
What do you think about the system?
But the worker's already busy because he's opening the freezer section.
What do you think about the system?
It worked. I had to do it a couple times, but it scanned it.
A Safeway spokeswoman wrote in a statement, recent changes were made at select Safeway stores in the Bay Area, given the increasing amount of theft. Those updates include operational changes to the front end of the stores to deter shoplifting.
If you get the wrong individual, they're just going to kick right through it.
Shoppers say thieves can also jump over since the gates are about 3 feet high. Safeway has tried...
But can they jump over it with a giant shopping cart full of things they're trying to steal? Probably not. They could try to crash through it.
Safeway has tried many security measures in recent years. Metal gates to prevent people from leaving through closed registers and long poles attached to carts so people can't...
Another thing I've noticed, maybe it's just me, but the stores that seem to have the most shoplifting, whether it's the pharmacies or the grocery stores, are the ones with self-checkout stands. Again, you don't see this at Trader Joe's. You also don't see this at Costco.
Safeway has tried many security measures in recent years. Metal gates to prevent people from leaving through closed registers.
You also don't see this at the farmer's market, but that would be insane if people are trying to steal from that.
And long poles attached to carts so people can't run out with a cart full of products.
It's something new, so we have to get used to it.
Now, I asked the Safeway spokesperson to share early results. If those sliding gates are...
Apparently he's doing this part of the report from a wind tunnel.
How many Bay Area stores will be equipped with that? So far, no response.
San Francisco DA Brooke Jenkins just released an update on her efforts to fight retail crime during her first year in office. Her office filed 57% more felony cases involving organized retail theft than last year, but only secured one conviction. The DA...
That's not a good record. I mean, she's doing her best, but when you're the only one in that machine that's trying, it's difficult.
The DA's office filed 51 misdemeanor theft cases, double the previous year, and secured convictions in about 35% of them.
So there it is. We're having a very difficult time actually putting people away for the rampant thieving that's going on every single day in grocery stores and pharmacies. Places that you probably visit a couple times a week, maybe every single day. And since we have, and you've seen it, stores like Walgreens don't even want to prosecute the people that do get caught shoplifting. They've just decided to change the way the store works. Heck, they're building one in Chicago where it's like an old-timey general store where you go in, give the employee a list of things that you want to buy, and they grab them for you. At that point, we're probably just going to shop on Amazon. So here's the thing that I want to know, because you might see this at a grocery store near you very soon, and it's got to be off-putting that, you're going for your Sunday morning traditional grocery run. You've got things on your list. You got to get over to the freezer section, and everything's under lock and key. And you know how some grocery stores are understaffed. It might take them 20 minutes to actually get that ice cream for you. Now you've got to stand in line and scan your receipt to get out of there. That's going to make it more inconvenient. But this is where we are. This is apparently the only way these places can stay in business. So what I would like to know at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. If you go to your regular grocery store and you see chains locked up on the freezer section and a gate that won't let you leave until you scan a receipt, are you still going to be shopping there? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Shoplifting has gotten so bad in San Francisco, also here in Los Angeles and Orange County, that you have a Walgreens that's locking up the freezer section. No frozen pizza for you unless an employee unlocks the chains. A Safeway is locking the exit door. You can't even get out of there unless you scan your receipt, which means no browsing for you. Do you support these kinds of security measures, or should we, go after the shoplifters and actually put them in jail? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222, because this Walgreens had 8 people detained for shoplifting in a day from a San Francisco police officer, and they decided not to press charges. But they're locking up the ice cream because they think that's going to work. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's start with Jerry in Westminster. Jerry, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Yeah, I'm 80 years old. I'm from Southern California. And this tears my heart out to see what's happened to our state. You people, California, you voted for these morons, and you're responsible for what's going on. I suggest that we make Wednesday Free California Day. Everybody go to stores, restaurants, and what have you. Get stuff, eat stuff, and walk out without paying. Then what are they going to do?
Well, they probably won't be able to do anything, but you'll have a lot of small business owners that are out a lot of money.
I understand that, but the only way to resolve the problem is to get these politicians off their butt and do something. They don't want to do it. So California, get them out of there. And put in people that will do stuff that will make this state great again like it was 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Like I say, I'm 80 years old, and this is disgusting already what's happening here.
Totally agree. Thanks so much for the call, Jerry, except for the part about stealing on Wednesdays. We here at 790 KABC do not advocate anybody rampantly stealing. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Your thoughts on the new security measures at Safeways and Walgreens. They're locking up the freezer section. They're making it so you can't leave without scanning your receipt, but they don't actually want the police to go after the thieves. Maybe we should? What do you think? Do you support these security measures? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Shoplifting and stealing has gotten so bad in the Bay Area that at a Safeway in San Francisco, they've locked the exit door. You can't get out unless you scan your receipt. There's a glass barrier that won't open unless you do that. And a Walgreens has decided to lock up the freezer section with a giant chain and a big old lock. And it's the only way you're going to get your frozen pizza is to call an employee over so they can unlock it for you. Would you continue shopping in an establishment that practiced these measures while at the same time knowing that even when shoplifters get detained, Walgreens isn't pressing charges? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Bob. Bob, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great.
Okay, I have some very strong opinions. Shoplifters are criminals. They're not little kids that want to play in the sand. They are criminals. They're stealing because they are criminals. Criminals should be punished. They don't want to get the police involved. They want to put a lock on a freezer. Come on, give me a break. That's like this no bail baloney.
It absolutely is. It's completely insane. And we're not taking this seriously. Even when the cops finally are able to detain someone, they don't want to press charges.
Right. It's ridiculous. You know, I was a lawyer for 45 years. For 23 of those years, I was an LAPD reserve officer, and I've seen all the criminals. They are criminals.
Yeah, and when there's no consequences for their actions, which there haven't been for this since about 2014, it gets so out of control that we're locking up food.
Right. You know, if I'm a criminal, I say, okay, I'm going to do this because when I get arrested, I'll be out with no bail. So I'm going to just steal.
Oh, it's worse than that. You've seen what's going on now with serial burglars. Even if they plead guilty because of AB 109, they spend zero prison time. They get kicked down to the jail. The jail's overcrowded, so they immediately get released without spending any time away.
Exactly. You got it. And you know what? If you go home and you walk in, there's a burglar in the house, just give them $100 and tell them to go burglarize another house. That's what they're telling you.
It's like a tip. Thanks so much for the call, Bob. I appreciate it. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. People are getting fired up. San Francisco Walgreens has locked up the freezer section, and at the same time, when police do detain shoplifters, they don't want to press charges. How does that make any freaking sense? 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Andy in Garden Grove. Andy, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, Randy, how's it going?
Doing great.
Hey, I just want to say it's funny what that guy in Westminster said. Not the part where we do that thing on Wednesday and start looting, but as far as what these morons voted for, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to share one of the stories. I've gone to this Dairy Queen since 1993, when I was like 7 years old, and about the last time I went to that Dairy Queen in Garden Grove was about a year ago, and I'm looking at the refrigerator, and it didn't really dawn on me for whatever reason. I guess because I'm not used to it, but it had that giant lock like you were talking about for that refrigerated Walgreens there. And finally, when that girl came over and unlocked it, I said, "What's it for?" And she said, "Oh yeah, a lot of homeless are stealing the ice cream cakes there at Dairy Queen." I'm not going to say I'm surprised at it, but, you know, it's just something I'm not used to.
They're stealing ice cream cakes. I mean, it's going to melt by the time they get it back to the tent. What the hell is going on here?
I mean, definitely in that 90-degree weather that we're having, you know?
I mean, a lot of these thefts are happening in the middle of the night, too, and it's not just it's the ice cream, it's the pizza, it's the Hot Pockets. They got microwaves in the tents.
Here's the thing, Randy. It's not so much if I agree with it or not. I mean, do we have a choice to either, like, buy somewhere else, you know?
No, you really don't, because this is going to be happening all over the place. If we all knew where was the place to shop where this doesn't happen, we'd go there, and it's called Costco.
Yeah. And just one last thing. I petitioned to have Newsom out of this state. Sorry, not country, state. And I'm like the guy in Westminster. All these morons that voted for it, you get what you pay for.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we look at what's going down here. Orange County, you've got a little more sense in who you elect as district attorney. But Los Angeles, Gascon. San Francisco, up until recently, Boudin. Oakland, Pamela Price. We voted these people in. We gave them power to not do anything about crimes like this, and now we're seeing the side effects of it. Thanks so much for the call, Andy. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Shoplifting's gotten so bad in San Francisco while Walgreens is locking up the freezer section. And at that very same Walgreens, they don't want to press charges against shoplifters that actually get caught. What the actual hell? 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Dave and Duarte. Dave, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Randy.
Hey.
Look, we know why this is happening, because of weak DAs like Gascon. But let's talk about the results of what's going to happen. This is not a sustainable business model. You can't lock the freezers up at night. I mean, they're bleeding money, these businesses, the Walgreens, the CVS, everybody else. They're going to move away. They're going to get tired of it, and they're going to be gone. And what happens then? Then they complain about the food deserts. Oh, we can't buy fresh product. We can't do this. That's what's going to happen. And it's happening in a residential sense, too, because I'm looking for an exit strategy to get the heck out of California.
I totally understand, and that's why you've seen so many, specifically Walgreens, already leave in the Bay Area. The ones that are left, they're trying to totally transform the store. There's a Walgreens now in Chicago that is just a window, and you tell them, here are the things I would like to buy, and they have to go get it for you because they don't trust anybody in front of any product.
Randy, that is not a society that I want to live in. I want out of here.
Well, good luck with the interest rates right now, buddy.
One more thing, sir. Yes. Finish the line for me. They're not poor because they live that way. They live that way. Wait, I messed it up.
Try it again.
Okay, one more time. They don't live that way because they're poor. They're poor because they live that way.
There you go. Thank you so much for the call, Dave. Appreciate it. 800-222-KBC. And, of course, remember, anybody that is thinking about leaving the state of California, we wish you better, greener pastures, but you can still listen to us online. Because I'll tell you one thing that's not better in Florida, that's not better in Texas, that's definitely not better in Idaho, talk radio. Keep listening to this show. We appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Steve in Torrance. Steve, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, Randy, how are you?
Doing great.
Yeah, you know what? San Francisco deserves everything they get. I hate that city. I want it to fall apart. All of those morons that voted those people in, I want that whole place to be a desert because they deserve it. They love that stuff. They love the Marxism, the socialism, and the defund of the police. They love all that. So here you go. Have a nice day.
All right. Thanks so much for the call, Steve. There is some schadenfreude in that guy's voice. Unfortunately, it's not everybody. There are a lot of upstanding people. There are a lot of small business owners in San Francisco. It's not like 99% of the people that vote for the nutzos out there. Yes, they got a majority, but you also had in San Francisco 70% of the electorate vote out Chesa Boudin. Ultimately, I think there's enough people that want to do the right thing. Most people are in the center. The vast majority, not the loudest, but we're there. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Let's go to Gloria in Silmar. Gloria, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Randy, you're doing a great job. I love listening to you. Thank you for my ticket to Reba McEntire.
Oh, you got to go to Reba. That's fantastic.
Yeah, all because of you. We had a fantastic time. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Oh, we're so glad. That's great. I love Reba McEntire.
And she did a great show, too. It was bomb. we incentivize these people to be homeless. We give them everything. They get $600 a month plus $200 in food stamps. And they live wherever they want. They get free food wherever they go. Why wouldn't you want to be homeless?
Well, they're definitely getting, and it's another great point that you make, is that we're already giving away so many different benefits, and we're giving away food stamps cards to anybody that wants them. It's very easy to qualify in the state of California, and people are still stealing these places, stealing all the inventory. And maybe I can understand you're stealing retail and you're selling it on the aftermarket. What the hell are you doing with 10,000 frozen pizzas?
That's what I'd like to know. And people come from other states. They go, this is the best state to be homeless in. They give you so much. It's great to be homeless in California.
Well, and that's why we're starting to see the pendulum swing in the other way, specifically in San Francisco, which is why we're paying attention to it, because London Breed specifically said, we spend all this money on the services, on taking care of people, and it's not working. We need to start arresting people. It's going to take a while for it to move in the right direction, but when you've got someone at the top saying that, at least it's something.
And this Bass Garcetti, she said, bring homeless people into your home. Bring them in your yard. Bring them in. This lady in Selmar brought 21 RVs into her property, and now they cut her electricity off and her sewage. And then it's like, well, you told her to bring these people. Now you're penalizing her.
We'll have an update on that story later. Thank you so much for the call, Gloria, and glad you got to go to that show. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. The Walgreens in San Francisco is locking up the ice cream. They're locking up the Hot Pockets. They're locking up the pizza. I would say they're locking up the frozen vegetables, but I do not think they carry frozen vegetables at a Walgreens. But at the same time, that very same store had 8 people detained for shoplifting, and Walgreens didn't want to press charges. They just wanted the product back. So the only way they're going to deter shoplifting is to treat everyone who walks in that store like a potential criminal. Does that make any sense to you? 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Kevin in Upland. Kevin, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Good morning. Hey, I would like to point out that what we are experiencing now is an overreaction to bad law enforcement, including DAs. They're so heavy-handed for generations. I mean, beating on people, abusing their authority, that people have had enough, and they vote in these people that are the other extreme. I think the LAPD, because I live here, is much more sensitive, in touch with the population than it was in the 80s. They were just brutal. And people reacted, and now we've elected a DA who wouldn't prosecute a murderer. I mean, we've gone too far the other way, and that's the same in San Francisco. The law enforcement has the LAPD has a worldwide reputation. I've traveled the world, and it's not good. Do they really beat on people like that? Do they really treat their black residents like they treated Rodney King? I mean, it's there for everyone to see.
Yeah, but there's been plenty of reforms since then. And what you're saying is true, though. What you're saying is 100% true. The pendulum keeps swinging the other direction. In reaction to that, things completely changed. But now the pendulum swung in the other direction when you had people complaining about long prison sentence and inequality and everything else. But it has swung so far that now we've elected people that believe the criminals are the actual victims.
You're absolutely right. And there's normal, regular people in the middle who need to bring this to the middle. George Gascon is a nut as far as he's just crazy. He's a nut. And this putting up with the homeless is just over the top. It really is. I had to go to a court hearing the other day, and I almost stepped in a turd in San Bernardino. The security guard said, "Wait, stop. There was a human turd on the sidewalk." How can we live like this?
Thank God for that security guard.
The security guard stopped me. He said, "Well, watch it. I almost stepped in it. And I didn't even see it. my point is we've gone too far the other way, and we need to elect. I mean, we really need, and I'm not a Republican, but we need some Republicans in the California State Assembly. We need to balance this thing out. We need to get about half and half or close to half and half and get some people that think the other way that would bring us to the middle.
That's
and
right.
I'm talking about the mayors, everything, especially the DA. And this George Gascon has got to go. I can't believe that we have someone like that there. He needs to be victimized. He needs to get robbed and shot and raped, and then he'll understand that the guys that did that to him need to be in jail. That's what he needs.
You make a fantastic point, Kevin. We're running late on a break, but thank you so much for the call. You know, we're going to have a big test in 2024. The man's up for re-election, and we've seen what his policies have done. That is going to be the test. That's how we'll know if the pendulum is swinging. What's this? We here at 790 KABC do not advocate for the violence of any elected official, including George Gascon. Okay, just had to read that. Let's go to AJ in Thousand Oaks. AJ, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Randy, how are you? Randy.
Doing great.
Oh, hey, I own a couple of convenience stores in the Valley, and going back to the whole 2023 money, there's no doubt that the inflation crisis that we suffered is due to self-inflation. A lot of the convenience store owners, including myself, are considering raising prices now due to loss of product. So that's something that's probably in the horizon for a lot of shoppers, that they're not going to have to take the bullet for those that are taking the product for free. They're going to get slapped on with higher prices on produce and all that good stuff.
Oh, I think we've been seeing that a lot over the last couple of years. I mean, there have been a lot of reasons prices are going up, but specifically at grocery stores, convenience stores, and pharmacies, you know, at the end, I hate using that. At the end of the day, you've got people looking at the budget and saying, well, the only way we're going to make this back is we've got to raise the prices on everything, especially when, like Walgreens, they don't even want to prosecute the people that get caught stealing.
Yeah, and I might have to put a disclaimer out there saying, hey, due to the raise of prices, your political officials have made this possible. If you want to see prices go down again and our inventory stays stagnant without being robbed, you're going to have to, get some new local officials representing us as well. So
you know what?
It's tough.
AJ, honestly, you should put those signs up. It'll make the local news, and it will cause a stir. I love that.
I don't know what to do. It's. I have a couple of stores again, and my loss inventory has skyrocketed, and there's hundreds of thousands that aren't accounted for, and unfortunately, it's a tough trajectory that we're heading to. Thanks for taking the call, Randy.
Well, thank you so much for everything you do, AJ, and thanks for listening. I appreciate it. It honestly, it makes my heart swell just how hard it is for some of these people to operate because we're not taking crime seriously. Let's go to Glenn in Garden Grove. Glenn, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
How goes it, sir? The system is never going to fix this. There's too many levels here. Regardless of Gascon, the LA jail system hasn't worked in 30 years. So you're not going to be able to incarcerate these people. Work camps would be a good way to do it, but I would never patronize Walgreens because they refuse to prosecute. If you want order, you kind of have to patronize the companies that also want order. You're on the same team. If you're not on the same team, then you're not trying to fix anything.
Well, you're exactly right. It makes it a lot harder for me to feel bad about a chain like Walgreens when right in the story of all their increased security measures, they flat out refused to prosecute 8 people that a police officer detained for shoplifting right outside their store.
Yeah, that's nonsense. Now, I don't know. I'm from SoCal. Do you remember the Treasury out in the Valley?
No, that's got to be before my
40
time.
years ago?
I'm 38, so it's definitely before my time.
It sure is. So the Treasury used to go in and used to shop, and then when you went up to ring yourself out, it was kind of like Costco, but they had a conveyor belt, and you weren't allowed to leave with anything. It went on the conveyor belt. You brought your car around, and then they loaded it for you. Now, that's a good way to stop it. If the carts can't simply leave and there's nowhere to run to and you've got, turnstiles, there's really nothing that can be done for the people, but that does complicate things.
That's kind of what's happening in Chicago right now.
It's either we go into a high state of inconvenience, much like our airports are now functioning, or we do something really fun, like stop building prisons in every state except for California, Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, and build all of the prisons for the whole nation along the border. And that would solve two problems. One, all of the illegals that are here, once they do their jail time, we put them out the back door and they're back home. Number two, people coming across the border would have to break into prison to get here, so that would help out a lot.
You know what? Hollywood's on strike right now, but that sounds like a great movie pitch. Thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it, Glenn. Let's do one more here, two more here. Why not? Joe and Hemet. Joe, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hi, how are you, John? Just want to say I'm an old 70-year-old guy from New York, and, great neighborhoods. If you broke into my house or you stole something from the store, justice was done right now. They put a brown bag over your head, beat the crap out of you, left you in the back or put you in the trunk and drove you to another town. Justice. I mean, when are men going to stand up and be men again and stop whining? And I'm not saying violence, but you know what? Let's be men. Take our neighborhoods back, our streets, and our country. No more talk. Let's stand together, please. We're in trouble in this great nation. We're in trouble.
I feel your passion, Joe. I appreciate it. But, yeah, we're not advocating for violence. Darlene in Costa Mesa. Darlene, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Oh, okay. I agree a lot with the last two callers, but I just wanted to comment that whatever the stores do to minimize their loss, we need to support those stores. Because if we don't, and they continue to allow these people to steal and get away with it, they're just going to pass the cost on to us anyways. So, I mean, until the local government gets to a place where they want to punish these people and start deterring crime instead of enabling it and promoting it, we need to support the stores and the markets and just, if they've got to unlock the freezer case to give me a pizza, I'm okay with that.
What do you make of the fact, Darlene, that at that very same Walgreens, the people that were detained by a police officer for shoplifting, the store didn't want to press charges?
I would not support that store. I don't think we should support those stores. If they're not going to do something, because they're not supporting us when you think about it. They're like, fine, whatever, let them do it. People can come here and shoplift, and they're not going to get in trouble for it, and we'll just pass the cost on to our consumer. Good, hardworking consumers. It's ridiculous. Why would I want to support that store?
Totally agree.
Any of my money.
Thank you so much for the call, Darlene. Appreciate it. Well, there was a whole lot of calls. You guys are the best. Can do this show by myself all the time with you guys. Well, I got 2 more hours to go here on the John Phillips Show. Coming up next, there's still crime on Metro. And they want to put out a whole bunch of stories telling you whether they're taking it seriously. We're going to find out how seriously they're taking it.
Rising crime in California.
Exactly, Whoopi. It's the John Phillips Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC.